Welcome back to another episode of the Photics TV podcast. The topic this time is about a secondary computer. I have an M4 Mac Mini and it's really good. It was surprisingly cheap for an Apple device too. However, it's at my desk. What if I want to use something more convenient when I'm on the couch? Unfortunately, my M1 MacBook Air has a broken monitor. I'm not sure if it makes sense to fix it, as the replacement part is expensive. I don't feel like spending $300 on a nearly 6-year-old computer. Instead, the M1 is somewhat usable with this $70 portable monitor. Clearly, that's not convenient enough for a couch computer. I was considering getting a new iPad to replace my iPad Air 2, as I did like my iPad, but unfortunately, it's obsolete now. I couldn't even play the latest version of Crossy, so I erased the device. I was waiting to see if Apple would announce a new one, but the new iPad Air seemed a little too expensive. While the iPad can be useful for sending quick messages or doing basic tasks, I don't really use it much for getting work done. Like with the book I've been creating, the Photics web guide. Theoretically, I could use an iPad to type out some pages, but I need a real keyboard. So I had forgotten about the idea of a couch computer, but then Apple launched a new computer. It's the MacBook Neo. Hey, it's an affordable Mac laptop. That might be the right tool for the job. Yet, it's still not clear if I should just get a cheap $350 iPad or this new $600 MacBook. The general idea is that I need to be able to respond to emergencies. People depend on me. I can't burst into action if I miss that important message. Which raises the obvious question, why not just use your iPhone? I've been doing that, but I'd also like to be able to check on Photics TV and the Photics.com website when I'm watching TV. And let's be real, maybe play a few video games too. So, while my M4 Mac Mini has been great, it's stuck at my desk. What if I need something more mobile around the house? Perhaps this shouldn't even be a question. Maybe I should just get the pretty new Mac. But then I see the 8GB of RAM. While I realize that AI has been hurting the affordability of RAM, 8GB just seems wrong for 2026. This old 2017 MacBook Air has 8GB of RAM. So why not just use that? Maybe I should, but it's running Linux. A lot of the software that I use is Mac only. But before I get all negative, let's look at what's good about the new MacBook Neo. First, it's cheap. While $600 is a lot more than a $350 iPad, this is quite competitive for a Mac laptop. Since the idea here is a computer of convenience, it's not about the top-of-the-line specs. I don't care about the A18 chip or the number of cores. And while 256 gigs is not a lot of storage, that should be enough in my couch computer scenario. I don't usually edit 4K video while sitting on the couch. So, for what a laptop can do, it's cheap. Cheap for a Mac. There are cheaper alternatives with Windows and Chromebooks. But right now, my main computer is a Mac. That's what I find interesting about the MacBook Neo. While not as powerful as my M4 Mac Mini, the Neo is probably going to be a better experience than my 2018 Mac Mini, which is what I was using not too long ago. Obviously, I like Macs. I've been using them for over 30 years. They have a nice style. Which is the next point. The MacBook Neo is cute. I can imagine people buying one not because of the specs, but because of that yellow color. If I do get one, it will probably be the silver one. While the blue does look nice, I think those darker keys might be a problem in a dimly lit living room. So while I'm not as excited about the colors, it felt as if Apple was playing on other feelings. It's the greeting, "Hello, Neo," which reminded me of The Matrix. Wow, that's a movie from the last century. I wonder if Neo has the same meaning for college kids today as it did back in the late 1990s. But in addition to being cute, the MacBook Neo has a nice design. Even though I broke my M1 MacBook Air, I still think they're fairly solid computers. While I don't know about the durability of the MacBook Neo, the other MacBooks in my house are probably still functional. The software, that's my bigger concern. With only 8GB of RAM, how long is Apple planning to provide updates for the MacBook Neo? That's a concern when you're in the Apple ecosystem. So I suppose this last point is both good and bad. Having a Mac is nice if you have an iPhone. They work well together. When figuring out how to switch to Linux, that seamless integration has been difficult to replace. Yet I might be forced to figure it out as I don't like Apple's new direction. It can be summed up with a single image. On my computer, if you look at the Apple section of the macOS Finder menu bar, it currently says System Settings 1 update and App Store 3 updates. I'm intentionally ignoring those updates. That's because I don't like the new liquid glass design for macOS Tahoe. So my powerful M4 Mac Mini is stuck on last year's operating system. It gets even worse with Apple Creator Studio. One of the reasons I use a Mac as my main computer is because of the software. But with the announcement of Apple Creator Studio, Macs feel less luxurious. To get the most out of my favorite Mac apps, am I going to have to rent them? The madness has already started. With the new versions of the iWorks apps, creating a new document is like seeing an advertisement. That's incredibly disturbing for an Office app. It makes the apps feel less dependable. It also puts the apps on the same level as a mobile game with in-app purchases and ads. I expect that from Crossy Road. It's in the name Hipsterwell. But even then, I only started playing the game because of the Apple TV. I wasn't bothered with ads when playing Crossy Road on that device. That was the whole point of choosing Apple. The experience is supposed to feel special, like you're respected as a customer. Now I have to wonder if this is going to be similar to a problem with Adobe. Out of nowhere, Adobe announced a shutdown of Adobe Animate. That's basically what Macromedia Flash turned into. And since the software is a rental, animators would have been locked out from their work. There was a massive backlash, so Animate is now in maintenance mode. I suppose that's better than a complete shutdown, but that's not great either. What are those people going to do next? Now you might be thinking,
but Apple would never do something like that.
Really? They already have. Take a look at Kimono Cats. Instead of buying a copy of the game outright for $2 on the Nintendo Switch, I was renting it through Apple Arcade. Then one day, poof, the app stopped working. It wasn't a super popular game, but I spent 3 whole days of my life playing it. I had fun decorating my little cat village. The music was peaceful, the artwork was happy, and now, nothing. You'd think Apple would let you buy a copy through the App Store, especially if you can't even rent it on the Apple TV. Nope. So that's what I consider the bad part of the MacBook Neo or a new iPad. I don't like Apple's push towards rental software. I don't like the design of liquid glass. I often have trouble reading the clock on the Apple TV because it's dark text on a dark background. That's basic testing. Mistakes like that should not happen. As for macOS 26, I disliked it so much that I uninstalled it and went back to macOS 15. When you combine that with the limited RAM of the MacBook Neo, and the fact that the more powerful M4 MacBook Air was as low as $750 last year, and that one has a backlit keyboard, that's when the MacBook Neo starts looking less exciting. I didn't get the M4 last year because I was getting frustrated with Apple. So I feel if I buy a new Mac or a new iPad right now, it's like rewarding bad behavior. It looks like the Photics TV community agrees. In early voting, 73% of you think that the MacBook Neo is not worth the money. I'm still deciding what to do about the couch computer problem. I'm waiting to see how Apple adjusts to feedback, as I'm not the only one that dislikes the liquid glass design. And I'm waiting to see if there are any good sales. But anyway, that's the story. What do you think? Do you have a couch computer? If so, what are you using? You can let everyone know in the comments.